Namaste, my friends. Today's yoga session, I'm actually like recording on the back of the bus because I gotta get to work. So today's yoga session, I started, trying to focus on my breath, and I was like having a hard time just focusing. I was like being really distracted, and then just I was in the beginning where I was just doing what is it called? Lunge pose, low lunge pose with my back knee on the ground. I just had this idea to pull my thigh bones, where the thigh bones connect to the hips, to like just start moving them outwards to the sides of my body that way. So like pulling them away from each other from the center of the perineum. And then I was like, once that happened, I knew that that's what I was going to be focusing on for the rest of the practice. And so for the whole practice, I was just trying to pull my hips apart, trying to pull my thighs apart, trying to pull the hip bones and the thigh bones and where they connect, like just pull them apart from each other. And this was just so amazing. It was a practice that like I was able to get lost in that because I was focusing on that so much. On just like pulling my hips apart while maintaining the rhythm of the breath. So I'm pulling my hips apart in all these different poses, like literally all the poses that I did. I was trying to do that motion of pulling them away from each other to the side of my body, to my side body, like away from my pelvic floor and outwards to the sides. And so I was like in twists, I was in warrior poses, I was in forward folds, wide-legged forward folds. I was in headstand, shoulder stand, all the poses. It's like I was really pulling my hips apart. And in all of them, I noticed a difference in my alignment, in the way, like in Warrior 2, when I usually just like use my muscles to like just hold me. But now when I was pulling my thigh bones apart and into my hip pockets, I was really getting my front leg really straight. It's like the alignment from the upper body to connect it to my lunging leg. It was just like that angle was so nice. I usually have it where it's like it's bent, where my hips are behind my knees, to the back, and my glutes are kind of sticking out, and it's not like in a perfect alignment from knee to hip to body. And so it was like pulling the hips apart allowed that my thigh to twist a little more and like get into that position a little better. Now I didn't perfect it, and it wasn't like in perfect alignment, but it was leagues better than how I was doing it before. So it's like pulling the hips apart, pulling the thighs apart, and the hip bones and the freaking thigh bones connected to the hip bones. That just like opens up that whole pelvic floor muscle, and like how my upper body connects to my lower body, so that I can get into better alignment and better situations in my physical form. And then that was just like I went really deep, and I was like gone for like a good 40 minutes just like focusing on that throughout the whole freaking practice. And it's like it really transformed my birds of paradise pose. Just like that moving the hips apart motion really allowed me to like get into my best birds of paradise pose in terms of alignment, in terms of stability, in terms of comfort, in terms of my upper spine being straight, or as straight as it could be. It's not perfectly straight, but it's much better than it was yesterday, which is like amazing for just like a one day thing to like transform the pose that much. It's pretty amazing. So like this just opening the hips was really powerful for me, invaluable, and I will be continuing to do this practice and really just pulling my hips apart and stretching that whole pelvic floor muscle. I noticed that I'm really tight there. Like that's what that showed me, that I'm really tight, and I hold a lot of stress there, perhaps. Maybe stress isn't the word. Or a lot of unconscious pivot patterns of my hips and my thighs and my perineum and my like pelvic floor, because it's like I don't really focus on that, when I'm like doing yoga. I'm like focusing on my legs and my arms and my chaturangas and like my thighs and my calves and like my abs and my back. It's like I'm focusing on everything, and this area is just such a like forgotten area. Like I don't really have time. It's like I just let the poses do me. Like when I'm in warrior pose, it's like I'm focusing more on my legs than I am on my hips. Um, Wide-legged forward fold, then I get to like focus on my hips a little bit, but again, it's mainly like the legs, because the legs are like extended out and the hamstrings are being pulled, and it's like all these poses I do, I'm mainly just focused on everything but the pelvic floor muscle and the freaking hip bones and the way that your upper body connects to your lower body. So this is what I am going to do, and I think I'm going to create a workshop from that, just like a hip opening workshop, a way to really get in tune with the hips and the pelvic floor muscles and to like move them apart. So that is going to be awesome. Yeah, I think that is all that I have for today. Namaste. I will see y'all in the future.